Hello, storytellers. Storytelling Ron. Merry Christmas. It's the Christmas. Getting here. I got my lights going. Well, I have them going all month, but I have them on today during the day because it's rainy out there and gloomy. So we got the Christmas lights over there. All right, this is D&D 5e erases women comment. A beautiful comment that I want to go over. And I want to thank this lady for her comment, this woman. And it was really, really wonderful to read. And I'm going to read it and I'm going to go over it because it's just a wonderful comment. I very much enjoyed your video about D&D 5e erasing women. I downloaded your Dark Ages game right away. After reading your game rules for women, I felt hopeful about being able to roleplay as a woman. That's my point. I want to say something. There's some people say, oh, it's just a fantasy game. It's just a fantasy game, right? What's the big deal? Well, it's a very big deal. To me, maybe not to you, but it is to me. Storytelling is very important in our lives and how we do it. And the basic premise of a story is male and female, men and women. That's the basic premise of every story. The interaction of men and women and how we're different. In any setting, fantasy, romance, sci-fi, there's men and there's women. In D&D and pagans, and atheists, by the way, everyone that is not Christian is a pagan. Everybody that is not Christian, that Jesus Christ is a pagan. So when I say pagan, I mean non-believers. See, so I'm totally diverse and multicultural and open and accepting of all things as pagan. Okay. So when they say it's just fantasy, one funny thing is about that. Well, if it's just fantasy, why are you guys changing it? Why are you guys changing and adding genders and modernizing it and taking out offensive words? And there's a whole video I want to do on that. And this guy who went through all of their changes that they're doing stealth edits on D&D. So you got to get out of D&D. They're doing stealth edits and they're going to expect you to conform to it soon. And it's very 1984. It's very mind control. The word savage, you cannot use anymore. That is a wonderful, cool word. And it definitely puts things in their place. And it denotes some things and it may be demeaning. And it's a rebuking word. And it is an actual judgment word on a tribe or orcs or humans that are savage. And the atheists and the pagans don't want you to have that word. They don't want you to have the power to judge people, to discern. Judge, discern, discriminate. Those are all good words, actually. Discriminate is a very good word. You need to be able to discriminate in your life to know what is good and bad and what is savage and what is civil. And they don't even want you to use the word civilization. They don't want you to know civilized. That's how evil and petty paganism is. And they're working it out now in the game. So if you come to my game, there's going to be savages. There's going to be barbarians. There's going to be civilization. There's going to be truth, good versus evil. What is wrong? Slavery is wrong. They don't even want you to know the word slavery, even though they love slavery. And I don't mind the word slavery in the Bible. I don't like sometimes they'll replace it with servant, which fine, but slave is to me, I get what it is back then. Back then it was part of the economy, and it took us a while to get rid of it as a oppressive forced slavery that pagans love. It took us a while, but we did it, even though pagans had done it for thousands of years. Anyway, let's get back to the beautiful comment. I digressed. Okay, anyway. So I very much enjoy. Okay, I have been struggling to roleplay every character I have ever made. Firstly, because I was sick in the head, worldly victim. Every character I played was hollow, a pathetic shell of a creature. Since coming to know Christ earlier this year, I've done much healing, but still struggle daily with my sense of self, and I still roleplayed hollow characters. Your rules for women changed that, literally overnight. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that. I'm already verklempt. I'm already overwhelmed by her comment. And I've already read this 10 times. To my wife, to my daughter. I'll get my other daughter when she comes by. Since going to Christ earlier this year. So she's gone through some stuff. Yeah, especially like if she was woke, head worldly victim there. Struggle daily with my sense of self. When a woman realizes submits to a man or realizes that that's her role to help a man, it becomes freeing for her. I think it becomes freeing. She doesn't have to then do this. She doesn't have to do that. She can call on the man to do certain things, and then she can do the other things. And we complement each other is what happens there. Like, I'm terrible at, when my kids got hurt, I'm get up, come on. Yeah, you know. Or I'd help, oh, okay, now you need to get up, you know, but the wife would just mother them and nurse them and comfort them. And I like, okay, can you do that to me for me later, you know, when I get hurt? I would not want me to take care of me. Okay. So back to the comment. My current character is a sorcerer. She has mostly battlefield management spells. In your game, they would be types of distractions. Battlefield management spells. Okay, I never had the character in melee combat range, and this made it very easy for me to implement a change without the men seeming to notice. And that she still plays D&D is fine. I'm against it in my hyperbole in my videos, but it's not a salvation issue for me. It's not a Christian issue for me. It's more of work your way towards it kind of a thing. Like, get away from D&D and work your way towards something. But if she's the player, she doesn't have much of a choice. She has to go into that world. We are not of this world. We are of Christ, but we are in this world still. So we still can do things in this world. We still can go, interact with and be part of, I don't know, pagans or sinners, whatever. And just so you know, I'm, as much as I chagrin and rant here, a lot of what I do is amongst pagans and Satanists. And I hung out with a Satanist when we did Medieval Armored Combat. And we got along just fine. And I gave his wife a hard time, who was the witch Satanist in the group. I gave her a hard time, not a religious hard time, but just joking around. I really joked around with her and made her feel comfortable. So I'm amongst pagans and Satanists, so I don't, whatever. But again, I still have the truth in me, and I'm still going to preach it, in this setting. I'm not going to go into their home and preach it, because that's not cool. But I'm going to, they all kind of know what I do, but they brush that, keep an arm's length, with that. And that's fine by me. They know to come to me if they need me. If they for what I have. Okay. And I would preach them too, but I would not preach them during event like Medieval Armored Combat events, because that's not why we're all there. I would preach them if I hung out with them, kind of a thing. Like, not preach, but I would open up, but I don't really hang out with them. I mean, I do, but I don't like invite them over or things like that. I'm going off on a tangent here again. My character, okay, so being part of this world, being in this world, okay. I have her behaving in a hospitality type way now. Focusing on food, smiles, and flowers. She pirouettes, tosses roses, and curtsies when introduced. So Christian women know to be attractive. If you're a good Christian woman, you know to be attractive to a man in some way, whatever it is, to use beauty, charm, but also be, I don't know what the word is, chaste, be, humble, or whatever the word is for not be sexualized. And it's a wonderful thing. It's the most, like, if I can say it's the most beautiful, appealing thing, not to be sexually appealing, but to be a woman, a beautiful, polite, courteous, woman who looks good, who does put on a bit of makeup or whatever, puts on, who thinks about her clothes and all that. The men seemed a little confused by that at first. Okay, she pirouettes, tosses roses, and curtsies when introduced. She focuses on food, smiles, and flowers. The men seemed a little confused by that at first, but by the end of the game session, they were all bought in. Most of the usual table tension dropped quickly, and two of them even behaved more respectfully toward me. We men are idiots. Okay, that's this. There's a secret right there. We are idiots, but when a woman comes into a room, man, we shape up. A real woman. When a real woman, not a pagan woman. Oh yeah, we can treat that person dirtily or whatever. We know what they want. But when a Christian woman comes in, Oh, okay, well, I need to behave. I need to be a better man. Seriously. Seriously. When a Christian woman comes into the room, we men know we need to be a better man. We need to shape up. Now, I'm talking about men who are good at heart. I'm not talking about the evil, wicked men. The polite men in you. Now, some of you pagans are going to be offended by this. I don't care. Good. Be offended. But it's the truth, statistically speaking. And I talk in statistics. Christianity brought romance and chivalry. Chivalry, there was never no rules of chivalry in paganism. And if there were, I don't know. I've never heard of any. Chivalry is to honor ladies, honor women. That's part of a knighthood. And to be chaste or to not be sexual. That is not the case for pagan warriors. Pagan warriors did not have any sort of chivalric laws or rules about it, especially concerning women and the weaker creature. But we men in Christianity absolutely have that. We absolutely have that. But we also know we're all both created by God, so we know there's an equality in there. We know there's an equality in men and women, and thusly we have to treat women that way. But we also know that women have their roles and men have their roles, and we have to, aim for that. Now, if it's the case that some women have to step up and be like the man, or some men have to care for the children, that's fine. That's not a sin. It's a necessity. It's a need, but it isn't the best, and what we should all be aiming for. And it isn't what we should be teaching. We should be teaching it the proper way. And obviously if the man has to step up or the woman has to step in that role, that's fine, but it's not how we teach it. We don't say that because they had to do that. Now everything is all the rules are thrown out. So 2 of them even behaved more respectfully toward me. Wow. Missing out. If you're a woman and you don't want to act like a woman, you're never gonna get men to respect you. They'll be your buddy, but respect you, they can try, because they're good at heart, because they're good and they're gonna be good and they're gonna respect you until they don't. So for her, it was the most fun I've ever had playing D&D in 30 freaking years. I added the freaking 30 years of her playing D&D. It was the most fun I've ever had playing D&D. She played a woman. So all the chagrin I got from the first video and then this one or whatever, and all I'm doing exposing myself and not being popular, I don't care. This is way more important. That this lady, this female, realized she can be a woman and she should be a woman. And by being a woman, you're gonna make mistakes or whatever. You're gonna have men that react negatively, but you persevere as a woman, not as a man, not as an equal. I just really get ticked off when they say equal, because what they really mean is everyone has to be a man and be sexually exploited, exploitive and exploited. And in the end, the women become the victims, thinking they're men, but they're just beat up and exploited by the physical men who lied to them, and they've fallen for the lie and become these victims of men. Men are predators. You women that think you're going to pretend to be a man or do the same things as men, you're going to be predated on. Whatever. You're going to be the prey. You're the prey. You're the foolish prey. You have no protection at that point, because all the men are falling for treating you like a man, and you're not a man. If you become a woman, here's what's going to happen if you become a woman. Some of those men are going to protect you. They're going to treat you like a sister because you're a woman. They're going to treat you like they would their mother or a wife, and protect you from the idiot men, because there's plenty of idiot men, even in Christianity. And by the way, we Christians, we're all sinners. So in my church, I'm not allowed to watch the kids like on my own, like in the child watch. In my church, the Christian men are not allowed to watch the kids alone. They have to be with a woman or other women. And we're not allowed to have the kids go on our laps. The Christian men, there's rules in the, and I was reading the rules going, oh, wow, this is okay. Because they know the predatory sinful nature of every man. Every man. We're not fools. We Christians are not fools, and we're not going to let you or me fool us because we're offended. We should allow men to do things horrifically, because otherwise we don't want to be offensive. No. You're a sinner. You're a sinner, and we're not going to let you have advantages for that. To take advantage of that. And by the way, I was pointing at you and me. Where's the camera? Oh. Whew. Now, some of you pagans go, oh, I'm cool. I don't need it. You're lying. You're lying if you say you're good and you don't need rules or controls. You're a liar and a predator. That's how I look at you. You're really lying. You're lying to yourself. Oh, I'm a good person. I would never harm anybody or children or anything. You're a liar. Stay away from me and my family. You're a liar. You know, we men need to follow rules. Have chivalry. Chivalry is rules. They're rules that you follow and everyone else expects you to follow. And that's what we Christian men have. Pagans don't have that. Pagans say they're good. I don't need any rules. I'm good. I don't need a God. I'm good. That's what they say. It's really annoying. It's really arrogant. That's what pagans are, arrogance. So stop being arrogant. Okay, in 30 years. Don't get me wrong. I feel great when I can pull off massive damage to the enemy, but it just isn't fulfilling. Slowing the enemy and then watching as the men become excited at the advantage they were getting was exciting for me. I helped in a way that all appreciated very much. Whether they understood that they communicated that or not is less important to me than my having successfully played my character as my proper gender, a woman. Thank you so much, my brother in Christ, for your bravery and boldness for the Lord. Okay, so I figure I pull off a massive damage. Yeah, so even in my games, the patron lady or the nun, they'll have opportunities, and they did in my games to, roll a nat 20. One time, one of them killed like an ogre giant character, and they, the warrior and the priest were fighting it, and they stood there as she shot over him and hit it. Nat 20 killed it. So women can do things in the game. Fun things. But she was in the back. She knew to be in the back. She knew to call the men forward. And she supported them. And here, the most joy is supporting the men or figuring out what's going on. Like the latest woman I had playing this, or female, was a girl with her dad and her brother. And she went and just, she didn't even she never played the game. But she immediately went over, she rolled and she saw some other woman hiding at another hut. And she went over there and talked to her separately from the men who were confronting another weirdo. And she went and it just evolved into this great little story where she started cooking for her. And then a grandfather came out from the hut or into the kitchen. And she started talking to them and getting more info out of them. And I was like, well, she's going to cook for them. They're going to start talking. And she's a patron lady, so she had sausage and cheeses or whatever she had. That's her magical power, And it was really, really wonderful to see that, to see her play and role play this game. And she was only like 10, 8, 10, 11, 12, I don't know, something like that. But so women need to be women in this game, and they need to play. They need to understand that. It needs to be delineated. It needs to be delineated because that's what role-playing games are. We delineate the rules. We work out, the fighter, the cleric, the wizard, or whatever. We delineate what they do and what they can and can't do. And my game is not that. It's way more open. You can go in any direction you want. But you start off with a warrior or cleric, but you can start going out into other, skills or whatever. But the women need to have these things. And she said she read my thing and saw the different, the rules for women and saw the mothering, look it up right now. I got them all open right now. I'm going to go through it. I'm just having a joyful time doing this. I'm going to just do it again. I just love this game. So whatever. Don't even care how long my videos are or slapdash they are. I just love talking about it. Okay, so let's go to the woman part First off, I need to change some things in here too. Right before I go to the printers, because I'm pretty much done with these PDFs, people. I got the Dark Ages. They're all done. They're all pretty much done and polished. I mean, I could polish more, obviously. And you guys are going to find a few maybe things in there that could be fixed and edited better, etc., etc. But the game is there. It's there, okay? I got the this one, and I got this one. The Creature Codex is done. It's got all the creatures and some game ideas. Then I got the Apostles of the APOC game and rules. And then I've got the, this one is the, what is this one? It goes through, here we go, the Hex World. So it's got a bunch of Hex ideas and settings and battle maps and for you to use, just examples. It's like 36 pages of that. The Termite one and some other ones here. And I role-played some of these. And it's got all the sort of stats for things. Then I got the Christians in Space one. There's examples of dudes. For the Lord, Christians in Space, 2500 AD. This is, and then that's the rule book. And then I have the a section of this Christians in Space, the Edge sector, which is kind of like the Outer Rim in Star Wars. The Edge sector here, and and it's got these different planets here. This one, Wolf, Leyland, and Bernard Star. And then the Dreadbots are out here in the Twin Star area. But, it's got all kinds of stuff in it. Talking about the area and encounters and what they can do. And there's even, different locations and maps and, examples of maps that you can set up. And all the assets are available for download. I may do I did do this. I was talking about women here and then I'm going off on this. I did do like a printable asset thing, but it's like $20 just for me to print it out. And I'm just kind of not sure if I want to do that or not as a product, but you can print these out on my, I have them online. I'm going to have all the ones for these PDFs are going to be available for free, I think. Or I might charge like $5 to download or something, but I know the Dark Ages one is free for sure. And then the other two are together, the Sci-Fi and APOC, because you can actually use any of the assets from the Dark Ages on up for the the Apocalypse and the Sci-Fi one, pretty much, because they're anyway. All right, let me go back to Dark Ages and the women thing. Oops. I want to go over the rules again for women. No, it's really sluggish today. I might have to reboot. My computer is not should be this sluggish. Okay, so for women, when you start a character, here you can be a patron lady or a nun. I also will allow some women to be a rogue scout, but play it like a woman. Maybe you're a guide or something. You have some sort of physical qualities to you, but you're more of a woman in that sense. I feel like this box is a little too big. I think I took something out recently. So a sister nun. You only get a D4 for hit die. The men get a D6. Although the clergy I changed to a D4 because I figure they're weak in the Dark Ages. But D4 for hit points, and you only start off with a 3 for hit points, and then your aggression. And usually your aggression is low because you cannot go above a 4. And that's the vitality is your hit points. 3 blessings to start for the nun. May use a pan, and obviously her main trait is a spirit or ability score or whatever. For patron lady, the main traits are society, intellect, awareness, secrecy. So you can kind of decide. May use a dagger and a light crossbow. May choose any gear and donkey. Lacks burden rules, so she's not worried about burden. Get 1 woman's touch ability to start, but you can always get more. So here's I'm going to refine the women's rule about aggression, because women's rule. Let me just go over this real quick. It is not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helper suitable for him. Genesis 2:8. As Christians, and in pretty much all scientific research, we know men and women are different. Simplistically, we know women are not as strong and aggressive as men can be. While in role-playing games, we want players to play fantastical or heroic characters that seem to do more than we can in real life, this game still wants players to experience the true differences and contrasts God has given us in male and female characters. It isn't about women playing roles that befit men, like wielding battle axes, but about women playing female strengths that befit womanhood. Women can never go above aggression 4-ish. I put 4-ish in there just to I just, man, if a woman wants to work on her aggression, it's like, let's have a talk. Women's aggression trait costs twice as much. So 4 to 5 costs 18 glory points. Yes, it's incredibly hard. So yeah, I don't want him to have an aggression 4, though some will want to, if they want to be a scout or warrior, I don't know. But if they play a nun or patron leader, obviously that's not going to help them. When resting, women gain an additional second D4 bonus as if holy to skills in aiding, healing, cooking, and comforting others. Oh, and I forget to use that myself. Actually, when the little girl rolled her cooking skill, I forgot to add this second die. I think she rolled nat 20. I think she rolled 2 nat 20s during this whole sequence of interacting with the people too. That's why, plus the food. I already gave her a bonus just for the food, but then she rolled nat 20. Biblically, this game and setting adhere to the rule that a woman cannot be a pastor of a church. However, a woman can use clerical duties of blessings, miracles, the power of the word, evangelism, and prayer to further the kingdom. So in the game, she technically can do as much as the men as far as evangelism, because they don't run the church. You plant the church, but you don't run it. So she can certainly do everything to set up a church, get the clergy there, but she cannot pastor. So when you have a church that has women pastors, get out. They're already not biblical. They're already a false church. And by the way, in the New Testament, it says there will be false churches, a ton of them. There will be false Christians. So when you all are like, why are there so many different Christian views? It's not even a religion. Well, the Christianity says there's going to be. It says it in the New Testament over and over. And by the way, the New Testament is all about churches. It's all about setting up churches, how to do churches, what to do in a church. Paul and all the disciples and apostles, whatever, all those letters were to churches. So, that it's all about church. So if you're not in a church, get to a church, make sure that the goal of a pastor is to teach you how to read the Bible. That's the goal of the pastor. That should be the goal. If that's not what they're doing, then you need to get out of that church. It's a false church or a messed up church or a weak church. And there's weak churches, there's false churches, there's floundering churches, and there's even like too prideful churches, like too successful. So the New Testament and Christianity already knows we're going to have false Christians. Okay, so there's no confusion there. Here, a woman's touch. So let me go with nun. Nun has her own blessings versus the clergy. And it's not like a stark line that the men can't have these or the women can't have the others, but this is really the starting point. And obviously, even in the Bible, there's exceptions to every rule. There's like a little thing, radicals that go off and do other things. As long as they're doing it for the Lord, it's not a problem. But this is the way that, especially new players, you should make them follow this. When they get more and more, if they've been playing with you for years and they want to like make a weird, interesting character that goes beyond, like Joan of Arc is kind of like that. Now she never fought in combat, but she led men, and that's a thing men do. But she is an exception to the rule and was still sort of a godly person, I believe. I mean, I think I'm just Catholic and all that. Not to say Catholics can't be godly, but I'm just. I don't know the full thing, but she obviously went beyond just a woman's role in what she did. Okay, nun, call out. So a nun can call out, and that's a defense die. So basically adds a defense die to the whoever she's trying to help, herself or others. Cleansing, I'm just gonna go these really quickly. Cleansing the area, cleansing the wound rather. Divination, so that's a cool one where she can do it, and hopefully the GM has to give us more clues or what's going on. Heal, okay, and that's the same as the clergy. Hope, so that's kind of like a bless roll. I see an angel, that's the big one, and I'm going to go to that one last. Miracle of healing is she can do grievous wounds and heal. Plea is an attack penalty against the person. Please don't hurt us. Repel is gets the villain or bad guy to feel guilty and leave and not want to kill her or whoever she's with. And I see an angel is an epic one where hopefully. And it's based on how many faith points she has left. She will use all those up, see an angel, and she must spend them on, and then she faints. And she will then spend it on the duration, the attack, and the damage of this angel. And what it does. It doesn't necessarily have to attack, but I'm assuming it's going to be for some major epic thing. And she can play the angel. How many ever turns it lasts, And that thing has been really a lot of fun and amazing in the game. And it's had some pretty cool effects, or, you know, even story wise. Okay. Woman's touch. So here's the woman's touch. Cleaning. So these abilities add a die rank to a trait, roll accordingly. So die rank, you know, plus D4, plus D6, depending on, and they can upgrade them to a D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, and beyond. To a trait, roll accordingly, or for a DRR, a die rank result to be used later. So a die rank result, I'll explain, like for instance, in details and comeliness. And I'll explain that what a die rank result. So in this game, you can roll to succeed, or you can roll, and based on how high the number above a 10, and that number can change based on how difficult it is. But above a 10, let's say I roll a 16 total for whatever I'm doing, whatever skill. So the 6 above 10 is a D6, and that I can add to the next roll or to the next thing, or, you know, to somebody else. You know, so that's what the die rank result means, DRR. Cleaning. Very aware of filth and where things ought to go. Will help to create a comforting space during rest or for helping improve a church or home. So let's say she rolls a 16 on cleaning. So she can have a D6, and she can then add that roll to something else to heal someone because they're in a comfortable place. She can give it to another player who's resting in that clean place, you know, give that D6 to someone else to help them. That's what a die rank result kind of refers to. Details and comeliness, able to make oneself or another look more calmly. This will help in society roles in proper places. So she can make up and, you know, make herself look pretty, doll up or whatever the term is. And then she rolls a DRR, and then that, like say she rolls a 16, then she gets a D6 that she can now use later on in maybe this, wherever they're going, whatever social engagement they're going to. And two things on that. You can either use it like an inspired die where she uses it and expends it, or I might even do it where she can use it permanently, like for the whole night, like every roll that has to do with society roles. She can use that, you know. I might even let her do it for the whole thing. I don't, you know, that's kind of up to you and how you're feeling about it as a GM. Or it could be, she could use a D6 on each person. Yeah, each new person. That might be a better way. So if she can use it on one person once, and hopefully that'll affect that person. And then if a new person comes along, she can then use it then again. But you can't use it on this first person over and over and over. Distraction. So, you know, this has to do with one's appearance or behavior in hindering or distracting men in social awareness situations. So she can help. It's almost like a spell, you know, but it's distracting them. But it's in a civil situation, you know, and it can be, you know, even in the market or whatever. Feigning. This is overt. So this is, you know, doing feinting or whatever and causing a distraction amongst in combat or in a yelling and mob type situation. She can try to do the overt one here, and, you know, and that would make her fall or faint or fake something. Okay, mothering, aid in rest, comforts, care, and recuperation between encounters. That makes sense. That's for healing and resting and all that. Okay, pans and more, self-defense and compatriot. May use a pan or found objects to defend as a free action. Adds defense on oneself and anyone clinging to them for D4. This is separate from the pan skill to hit, but can be combined for parry. Okay, so it's like a parry skill using a pan or found object, candelabra, or whatever, and can also help others with that. Okay, so that's a woman's touch, usually against a man. Well, the pan probably works for anybody, but that's me showing how women can have woman roles and do women things and really be fulfilled, be really fulfilled in the game and play a woman. Your pagan freaking games are not doing it. They're acting like it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. That means you're erasing women then, because a man can kind of act like however in these games, and there is no raising children or the home. The most important thing women can do is raise children, have a family, take care of the home, you know, all that kind of stuff, and help the man. And as the man goes out and does crazy stuff and gets hurt, and that is the role of the woman. We see that statistically speaking. That's what it says in the Bible. And oh my gosh, I got to read this. I'm sorry, I'm going on, but you all know what I'm talking about. The women in Proverbs. is so, and I've already done this one, but I'm going to do it again because this is just the most beautiful. I'm almost here in the Bible too, as my reading of the Bible. I'm actually back on this part. I'm getting there. I'm not there yet. I'm on 26 or something. But I'm going to end it with this freaking, the most beautiful. Let me do the other screen. This one, right? A little closer. The virtues of a noble woman. This was written, what, 3,000 years ago? 3,000 years ago, this was written. Right? Around 3,000 years ago. A wife of noble character. Wow, we already started off great. That doesn't mean noble. It just means of noble character. And, you know, who can find? She is far more precious than rubies. The heart of her husband trusts in her. The heart of her husband trusts in her. Man. And he lacks nothing of value. She brings him good and not harm all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. I can't do that. I'm trying, but I can't do that. She can do that. My wife, and by the way, this reminds me of my wife so much. She does little things all the time, whereas I'm like, I just want to sit there and play a computer game or work on my schemes of the day, you know, or watch Kong versus Godzilla for the 12th time. But she wants to sit there and do things. She sews while we're watching TV. I'm like, she is like the merchant ships bringing her food from afar. My wife can't cook, but it's okay. My daughter can freaking cook. I don't know what a unbalancing life that has been for us. And that's okay because my wife's so busy with so many things, but she can't cook though. Or I don't know if she can or can't cook because I don't even know, but she doesn't cook. And that's fine because she's always busy. Okay. She rises while it is still night. Yes, that's what my wife, she rises before I do, to provide food for her household. Well, she doesn't need to do that because we don't eat in the mornings. And portions for her maidservants. But this is just beautiful. To provide food for her household and portions for her maidservants. So she's already serving everyone that needs to be served in the house. Maidservants, you know, the slaves or whoever is working in the home for this couple. She appraises a field and buys it. She appraises a field and buys it. This is a woman 3,000 years ago from the Jews, and us Christians obviously love this. She appraises a field and buys it. She is buying property. And she appraises it. She determines. Where the freak is the man in this? From her earnings. Her earnings. Am I looking at me? Her earnings. She plants a vineyard. I'm just gazing at this woman right now in awe and joyful admiration. She woke up in the morning to feed us all before we even got up, and she's already out there appraising a field to buy it. You know, she girds herself with strength, but you know, not a man's strength, a woman's strength, and shows that her arms are strong. So she's doing things. She's carrying bushels and lugging things around. Now, she certainly will. You need the man to open the jars, but she's still lugging things around and doing things. She's not pigging out, overweight. You know, she's just, the physique of this woman is incredibly sexual. I'm going to say that. Beautiful and sexual. You know it is. She girds herself with strength and shows that her arms are strong. She's got muscles. Now, I'm not talking man muscles. I'm talking a woman's muscle. Like my wife has woman muscles. My wife works out 7 days a week, and she barely eats every day. She has the most beautiful back. She sees that her gain is good, and her lamp is not extinguished at night. Her lamp is not extinguished, so she works even through the night. She's up, through the night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers. She's freaking sewing like in the night. Repairing things, fixing things that probably washing my loins, my stinky, poopy loins. She's washing them, and doing things The spindle is obviously for sewing and clothes. She opens her arms to the poor and reaches out her hands to the needy. She helps others around her in her community. We haven't even talked about the husband here. Just wait and check this out. This is so true. So she's out there doing things, with the other women. Like in our Christian church, the women are so busy doing things, getting together, chatting. But then they all kind of do things. They're all, volunteer and stuff. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for they are all clothed in scarlet. Cloth in scarlet. So scarlet being like very expensive, very nice. So she even her household, when it snows, she makes stuff that's good, but also beautiful. Clothed in scarlet. That means it's beautiful. It's colorful. Back then, think about it. Making something scarlet would have been expensive. She makes coverings for her bed. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Purple being expensive as well. Fine linen. She makes coverings for her bed. She makes sure we all are comfortable going to bed. The family. Probably even the slaves. I'm saying slaves, maidservants, whatever. Her husband is known at the city gate where he sits among the elders of the land. So that's what the husband is doing. And that's exactly what I'm sitting here on YouTube and role-playing games and going to do a ministry and change things. Yet my wife is like going around making a home. Making a home that I'm sitting comfortably in, blessed to be in. And she's making money and she's running a business. And and look at me, I'm sitting at the gate with the other elders. Here we are sitting around. And it's just a wonderful. She makes linen garments and sells them. What? She delivers sashes to the merchants. So she's running a vineyard, bought land, real estate, running a household, and running a fashion clothing line. Are you that kind of a woman? Or even if you're even just a third, if you just take care of the home and homeschool the kids, you're a wonderful woman. And be your husband's wife. Now, if you're suffering, first go to church and get that going, because you need church. If your husband is a jerk, you need church. First, you need church, and you need fellowship, and you need the husband to be part of a fellowship. If you're pagan, good luck. I don't know. Luck. You roll dice. I don't know. Cast lots. What can you do? Talk to the other men. What are they going to do? But if you're a Christian woman, or if you're a woman who's suffering under a man, go to a church. Get your husband to go to the church. Figure it out. Work on it. Okay. Strength and honor are her clothing. Strength and honor. And she can laugh at the days to come. She can laugh. So this wife laughs. And all she's been doing, real estate, vineyard, taking care of everything, clothes, bedding, selling linen garments and sashes to the merchants, delivers sashes to the merchants, and she can laugh the days to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. Faithful instruction. So that's of the church or of the synagogue or whatever. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Idleness. She does not eat the bread of idleness. My wife will not stop moving. It's pretty funny. I'm like, you need to come over here and watch King Kong versus Godzilla with me. No, she's got things to do. There's like a worn pathway behind the couch while we're at. There's an indent on the couch where I'm laying. Then there's a worn pathway behind the couch along the wooden floor where she passes by. Okay. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband praises her as well. Yep. Our daughters love my wife, their mother. Many daughters have done noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. My wife, her beauty is fleeting. She's 61. I'm 54. She's 61, 60, almost 62, or I'm 54. She's 62 or 63 now. I think she's 63. I don't know. I gotta find. But you know, and her grays are. I've told her, let's not dye your hair anymore. I want to see your grays, and so she doesn't dye her hair anymore, and it's becoming more and more gray. And I call her my little old lady, in a cute voice, and I love her dearly. And you know, I praise her. I praise her every day in my silly way, and because her charm is deceptive, which she doesn't really need charm. She does plenty. She doesn't need to charm anyone, and that's the thing. And her beauty is fleeting. So she's got, you know, wrinkles. She's obviously an older woman. Here's the thing I've always noticed though about her around other people. Other people will see her and immediately go, oh, you know, she's an old lady, blah, blah, blah. Like, especially other women. And I'll be like, whatever. But then I notice as they start to talk to her, they start to like, I could just tell they want to be closer to her, talk to her, engage with her more as they talk to her and see who she is, her you know, her character. And I could tell they want to like be more interactive with her. Give her the fruit of her hands and let her works praise her at the gates. So at the gates is obviously where the men are. Give her the fruit of her hands. I just, you know, I think that's just an admiration on her about her, and let her works praise her at the gates. Yeah. So, whew, that's a woman. I mean, pagans aren't going to describe a woman like that. They're not going to describe a woman like that. Pagans are going to describe a woman like, I don't know. Look at witches. Look at the witches today, the pagans and their witches. They all have to put on the crazy makeup. They have to look sexualized. All the witches you see do everything they can to look sexual or seductive, voluptuous, to get you. And then how long is that going to last for them? Whereas Christian women, you know, when they're old, they join when they're really old and in widows or whatever. What happens to them? Well, they come to the church, they fellowship with the other women, and they volunteer, and people visit them when they're sick, and husbands and wives go visit the old ladies and the widows or old men, and there's a circle of people who take care of each other as they get older and as they lose their husband or lose their wives, and that's how the church is. A good church. Okay, so that's my ranting, meandering, slapdash video. Not final video, but video on D&D 5e erases women. A beautiful comment that I wanted to go over. Thank you so much. You know who you are that did that comment. And I just want to keep beating a dead horse because it needs to be done over and over until, you know, and I keep promoting that. You and I as Christians need to keep evangelizing that as well. Men and women are different, and they have different loves and joys and roles in this world and are in living, and pagans are lying and deceiving about what is a woman and what is a man. All right. I gotta finish these my PDFs now and finalize the game. Merry Christmas. In the new year, I'll be having a bunch of prints, and I'll have the PDFs are going to be available on my website to buy. And prints will be available next year, early next year. I just got to order them. I'm doing a print test right now. In the game of Merry Christmas, and in the game of life, roll holy dice.